A few weeks ago in my first video out with the Sony A7R VI, I was marveling over its video stabilization.
Image stabilization, it is a really big help for me.
Admittedly, I had only done about 20 minutes of setup in the camera before that outing, and I knew I was barely scratching the surface of what this camera is capable of. So I'm back out again with the A7R VI. This time we're gonna really deep dive into the video stabilization modes, and I'm gonna show you the best way to shoot handheld wildlife footage with this camera. So it is about 7:30, it's already starting to warm up, and I am heading to a place that if you know the channel, you might remember. Oh, we're here, the old stomping ground. Today is a video test. I'm really wanting to test out the image stabilization while shooting video. And yeah, there's a couple different modes of video stabilization. We've got our standard, we've got our active, and we have dynamic active. So we've got 3 to choose from. So let's go see which one works best for shooting handheld with the big lens. Here it is, the old patch. This place is beautiful. So I think the trick today, or the hard part, is gonna be finding birds that will hold still long enough for us to cycle through the different video stability settings so I can get a good comparison. So that's gonna be the challenge, I think, here for the morning session. So yeah, let's go see what we can find. This barn swallow was definitely not the species I was expecting to get a great look at, but it was perched here on this branch. I started in standard mode and then quickly switched over to active. I then went up to level 3, dynamic active mode. Okay, well, I've actually been pretty impressed that I've been able to find some static birds kind of sitting still, and I've been able to crank through all 3 modes for comparison. And I'm sure you're noticing that the active mode is the one that's kind of in the middle, is the one that's a little bit more shaky, at least from what I've noticed. And that's because I'm sure you've also noticed that it does crop in by 1.1x on the image, so we're zoomed in a little bit. So of course it's going to be a little bit more susceptible to shaky hands, but when you go to that dynamic active, you still get the crop, but the camera goes into full on, all right, let's smooth this out the best we can. So that has been the mode that I've been liking the most so far. Because again, on wildlife video, I'm generally going to crop in anyway, so I don't mind that. But the standard mode has been really good too. So I think I'm going to kind of focus on just standard and active dynamic going forward, because yeah, that's been the 2 that have been most impressive to me so far. I continued around the reserve that morning, and with the active mode now off the table, I was switching between standard and dynamic active. All right, well, it was pretty good this morning. This place is so hit or miss, and I would say today was more on the hit side. I was happy that we were able to get a few birds that were holding still enough that we could go between the three different stabilization levels, and yeah, I thought the standard worked really well. I mean, that might be all you need, but then the dynamic action where it punches in a little bit and gives you the good stability, I thought was really good too. But shooting it, it felt pretty good. So we are not done for the day. We're gonna go home out of the heat, but then we have another outing late this afternoon into early evening to a place that I love. So I'm excited to get up there where we will do more testing. So stick around for the whole second half of this video. Hello, before we get to part two, which is gonna be awesome, I wanted to make one disclaimer and one clarification. Disclaimer. I forgot to mention that all of the video clips in this video are straight off the camera, no stability added in post, no cropping done in post. These are straight off the camera is what you're seeing. Second, in that first half, I kind of was a little confused about why that middle mode, the active mode, was so shaky. And the way I was thinking about this was standard, it's sort of that level 1 where that's gonna give you a little bit of stability help. It's not gonna crop in, and it's a more lighter touch on the stability assist. And then you go up to level 2, which is active. That's where we crop into 1.1, and that's gonna give you even more stickiness, with stability. And then when you get really crazy, that's when you go to level 3, and that's that dynamic active mode where it does crop in even more. I didn't realize that, but you actually go into 1.3x in that dynamic mode, and that's where you get the maximum amount of stability and help. And that's actually not true at all. The active mode, that middle mode, is literally made for when you have the camera and you are being active. It is quite literal. So if you were walking around, say like you were using the camera to like vlog and you were walking, that's the mode you would want to be in. Active mode is not made for someone who is standing still trying to shoot steady footage with a telephoto lens. So I'm glad I figured that out. I didn't know that, but it makes perfect sense. So again, part 2, we're going to be really focused on standard and dynamic active, and it's going to be awesome. So let's get right into it. Oh boy, well, you get Scott from his phone because I forgot my vlogging camera. And I am out for the afternoon session, and I am up here in the mountains, and I have come up to one of my favorite places to do photography. I am at Brainerd Lake, and yeah, I am going to start here at Red Rock Lake. It's this awesome spot where occasionally you can get moose, but that is my big target today, is moose. And of course, birds up here too will be awesome. So yeah, let's go see what we can find. At Red Rock Lake, there weren't any moose, but there was a very loud family with a barking dog. Delightful. But there were also some birds, so I got to work. These American robin were patrolling for insects from the rocks and would leap and catch them in mid-air. Also cruising around Red Rock Lake were a decent amount of green-winged teal, which eventually stood up on the rocks and started preening in the sun. I then made my way toward my normal hotspot for moose, which was closed to vehicles, so I actually had to hike in. Ugh, the humanity. So I'm having to hike in. It's not too far, but kind of annoying. I didn't really bring any hiking stuff today, but we'll do it. And just a little bit further down the trail, it turns out, it was worth it. This bull moose was sitting there about 10 feet off the trail, and he wasn't alone either. even more showed up as the lights started to get low, and I decided to make my way back to the car. Okay, well, I am back to the car, and that was sick. Getting 3 or 4 bull moose that close to the trail is pretty awesome. So I'm very happy I made the drive up here. When I first got here, the road to that lake was closed. And so they were like, yeah, you can still go up there, but you gotta hike your ass up there. I was like, oh man. I've seen them there in that meadow before, so I wasn't surprised. But when the guy at the gate told me that nobody's really seen any moose in days, and yeah, they just haven't been around, I really was kind of like, ugh, am I gonna hike all the way up there and then they're just not gonna be there? So yeah, hit pay dirt tonight though. So I drive back to Denver happy. I am it was nice getting up here. It's definitely cooler up here, but I'm still sweaty from the hikes. I am yeah, gonna head home with a smile on my face tonight. How about those moose up at Brainerd Lake? Oh man, what an afternoon that was. They are awesome up there. One of the best places you can go in the entire state to see moose. In fact, every time I've been there, moose have been there. I don't think I've missed yet. So that was awesome. Closing thoughts here on image stabilization handheld with big telephoto lenses. So yeah, the standard mode is great on the A7R VI. That is likely all that you're ever going to need. The dynamic active mode is really great too for this. That's going to get you that punch in to 1.3, and that's going to allow you to be a little bit more stable, even if you have to make some subtle panning to stay on a subject. That's going to be the 2 modes that for wildlife photographers you are going to be in. The active mode, that middle mode, like I said in the middle of the video, is not really made for what we're doing here, like standing still, trying to shoot stable video. There are, of course, a few other factors to consider here. And yeah, the lens also is going to play a role in what kind of stable video you can get. I use this Sigma 500mm prime lens, and this has 5 stops of image stabilization built into it. So combine that with the 8.5 stops in the camera, I'm looking pretty good here for stable video. The other great thing about this lens is it's very light. For a big telephoto, I can hold this up and handhold it much easier than I could with, say, the Sony 200-600, which is the lens I used to own before this, and the main reason I got rid of it. It's because I didn't think the image stabilization when shooting video was very good in it. And in fact, I did a little comparison, and it looks like that lens has 3 to 4 stops in it. It's approximate because Sony doesn't give an exact number, where this has 5 and sheds a lot of weight. So it's much easier for me to handhold and shoot steady video. Now with this camera giving me the modes to help me out, oh man, it is sweet. So that's my take on the image stabilization in the Sony A7R VI for shooting good quality, steady, handheld video with a telephoto lens. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful in what you're doing out there. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching this one. See you later. Bye-bye.